Hello everyone, am I audible and visible?
Yeah, Sneha.
Hi Sakshi, thank you. How are you all?
All good, thank you.
How are you, Natasha? Hi Rajeshwari, how are you? Okay, I'm just going to wait for another minute before I start. So, in the meantime, if you want to talk about something, you're most welcome. Can you see the PPT?
Yes.
Okay, so this webinar is intended to show you the gaps in the practice, to show you how you can create maximum results for your clients, and also highlight the process in one way or the other to understand where essentially you can bring your clients to a level where they can be therapy free. And that means enabling the client and empowering the client to go beyond you. They can function without you. They have that capacity that when circumstances become challenging, when life becomes difficult, they can navigate it on their own. And then therapy becomes a choice, which they can always take, but not a necessity. Like making them so secure in their approach, making them so well regulated in their nervous system. And that is the whole idea when you sign up a client. It is not to just transform them from their current problems, from their current dynamics or the challenges, or just resolve that, but to make them a person who can go beyond it, who can transform beyond it, and need not feel entirely incapable the moment they leave therapy or whenever life takes a different turn. So let's talk about what is becoming challenging now, how the therapy space is transforming. And this is what I call the new wave. And this new wave of clients makes it very important for us to know our skill set and to refine it in a way that we can deliver that transformation and not just resolve their problems. Because the clients these days are most aware, they know their patterns, they also have labels. They will tell you, my husband is a complete narcissist. My mother was always emotionally unavailable. My father was an absent husband. He was always interested in his family, then thinking about us. Like they have all the awareness that internet could give them. These days, I'm also seeing clients whose awareness have reached to a level that they also know the reasons why they are having this kind of phase in their life. They will also relate to the astrological charts. Right now, I'm going through Rahu Mahadasha, and that is why success is very difficult for me. Everything is very challenging. And with Moon Antardasha, it is going to be super challenging for me. Like they also have understood the astrological, the planetary connections, and they have concluded that it is going to be. Just imagine the complexity of thoughts they already have along with the traumatic forces in place. Their realizations are also immediate. They have those emotional breakthroughs in a moment, and they can resolve things in their head, and they feel that, yes, now I have healed. And along with all of this, they have attended workshops which talks about the technical parts of it, and they have also done years of therapy. And trust me, these clients will also tell you that I have done immense work on myself. Worked with multiple practitioners. I have worked a lot on myself. I have done this healing, that healing. And then the question comes that if they have done so much, if they are aware, if they know their patterns well, if they also have the reasons why these patterns are there, why they remain stuck? Why the same problem keeps on repeating in different phases? Why nothing changes? And that is where a deeper layer comes in. And that is the myth of the single cause, single solution. So we have been traditionally trained in a way that we unconsciously search for the issue. We find the root cause, and then we find the missing piece, and then bring it all together. I'm not saying this is incorrect, okay? But it just simply does not justify the complexity which the client brings on the table. Because there is no single root cause. Like I tell this in my training programs, that trauma is more like fibrous root. If you would recall that in the school we were told about the parts of the plant, and one of the major part of the plant is the root. And there are two types of roots. Okay, one is tap root and the other is fibrous root. Okay, what is tap root? The tap root is the one which has one major root, just one. But the fibrous root is the one which has multiple thin roots. So when we say that we have to attend or we have to address the root cause of the problem, if you are going to work from the space of tap root, it is not going to work. Not in all the cases. There may be certain clients where it can work, or maybe certain number of sessions you actually achieve a breakthrough, but not in every session. And the reason is very simple, because trauma is like fibrous root. The roots, the parts of the problem lies in different areas. And therefore, we cannot address the root cause in one single session in the traditional ways. Kindly mute your devices. Now, when we just address that one root, we try to find that missing piece based on the modality we use. But beings do not work that way. It's like a lot of fragmentation has happened, and they do not, like, if we address each fragmentation one at a time, it is going to take years. And life is going to happen at the same time simultaneously. Everything happens at the same time. So we cannot work on this way anymore, depending, given the kind of cases we get now. I'm getting a message continuously that this webinar is being transcribed. Kindly don't do that. You will get the recording, but please do not transcribe the webinar without my permission. Okay. So, where is the real transformation? The real transformation is systemic as well as layered. Now, when we talk about systemic, we talk about system in three different ways. Number one is this body system, this nervous system, this somatic system where we are talking about, where the fragmentation happens at the first level. Then, system is also the family system from which we have originated. And then the system is also the meta system, the community at large, which shapes us, the environment which helps us grow or which wounds us. All that becomes a part of meta system. Okay, so real transformation is systemic and layered because a client isn't a thought, because they keep on thinking something bad will happen. We cannot label them as passive or pessimist. And because you are always on this low vibrating energy, that is why you cannot manifest the life the way you want to live. It is not just that. It is not just a belief that I'm not good for anything. It is not that the body shrinks the moment I have to pitch in my offer. It is just not a nervous system state where I go into freeze the moment I have to talk about the price I'm going to charge, or when the client says no, or when the client questions, how can you demand this thing? It is not just a childhood wound, because my mother was always critical and she always told me that I'm good for nothing. I feel that I'm not good enough. It is just not that. It is not just that family pattern where parents are just concerned about raising children, and their definition of raising is providing them with resources, food, money. That's it. It is not one single thing. It was never, ever. These are all of these at once. And therefore, we cannot address one thing. We have to address all these at once. So here is an example. When a client says that I keep attracting emotionally unavailable partners, now depending on the modality you use. For example, if you use inner child, you may feel that it is probably because of the childhood. If you have gone deeper, you will consider how the relationship between the parents was. If you have understood the various themes, then you will see how parentification is taking place, and therefore this client does not have the capacity to have space for another partner. But what if it is all at once? What if it is about the relationship? What is about this fear is coming from the previous relationships, and they might have a proper normal childhood? What if this fear of always having emotionally unavailable partner is coming from generations beyond, where someone was abandoned? What if this attachment is coming from my deep merging and reliving the fate of my mother, who was never attuned to? What if it is coming from my own childhood because I have seen my parents fighting all the time? What if it is a nervous system state where I believe that if I'll get a person in my life, I probably, this is a subconscious belief, I probably will have to go away from my parents, and then my parents will have no one. And so I cannot choose, or I cannot attract someone who actually makes it worth it. So I keep attracting emotionally unavailable partners so that I can stay with my parents. This is so subconscious. What if it comes from an identity which I have practiced so many times that I feel that no one can be like me, no one can even match me in terms of what I do, and therefore anyone who comes into my life, they always feel less, and I label them as emotionally unavailable because no one can be available like me. What if it's a family pattern? What if all these are happening at once? which is most of the time. So, this is the transformation ecosystem where the client's current problem is not only stemming from the current circumstances, it is also stemming from emotions they have suppressed that finds a place in their body, which fuels a belief, the whole feeling staying in the body, the nervous system, the identity, the family conditioning, the childhood experiences, the environment, the ancestral blocks, even the past lives. If certain lesson has not been learned, we keep on repeating it. And when all these things are addressing or contributing towards the current problem, how can we take just a part of it or a fragment of it to resolve our client? Then the work definitely is going to take years. And that is why people say healing is a journey. And yes, indeed, it's a journey. But it need not be a lifelong journey. If I spent 40 years on this earth, taking all this in, and now with the baggage of current problems which I have in my life, I need not to spend 40, 50 years or probably half of it to heal from it. Because life is going to happen and I'm going to get wounded in this process itself. How will I manage resources? How will I have that patience within me? And these are the practical things which no one talks about. That healing is a very lonely journey. It dismantles all your beliefs, all the identities which you have created around you. It cuts you off from all the spaces where you thought you are safe, where you have created that false sense of safety. It shows the versions of truth which never existed in you. And once you see them, you can't unsee them, but you also do not have the courage to embrace those truths fully. Because embracing those truths also means leaving so many parts of you, so many people in your life. Like nothing is going to remain the same. So, how can addressing just the fragments of certain aspects of the problem will help you resolve their client? And that is why healing becomes a never ending cycle. Clients lose trust in the process, resources becomes a constraint. I was working with my therapist. So I went to my therapist because I wanted to work on my relationship. Before that, I was in the illusion that, my partner is wrong. My in-laws are making my life challenging. And like I was in a complete victim space where I would blame anything and everything for the state of mess I was in. When I started the work, I asked him because I wasn't working or earning to that extent. So my therapist told me, I cannot define how much time will it take, but 12 sessions will do you a lot of good. I asked him his fees and managed that money, which was a difficult thing for me then. And then I started the work. But because that time the work, the way he has learned, he probably practiced that when I'm not saying that it didn't help me. But we were working one fragment at a time, and I was feeling that I am progressing. But the progress was very slow. 12 sessions turned into 24, then 30, then 50. And I saw that more than a year has passed, 2 years has passed. And like I was getting short of money. I was really finding it difficult to manage. And I also knew that I haven't reached there where I can be on my own completely. And it was such a difficult thing to continue even the therapy. So many times the thought crossed my mind that am I so unhealed? Am I so traumatic that even after 2 years of therapy, I'm still not in that place? Very few people knew about this decision of mine, and they will question me. Are you really sure? इतना कितना baggage है भाई that खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा है. Do you even realize how much money you have already invested in it? And now can you ask him how long will it take? And every time the answer was same. I guess 10, 12 sessions will do good. I guess in 2, 3 months it will be much better. And yes, we progressed, but the toll was real. I took therapy for 5 years as a client with my therapist. And those, I do not regret that decision. Instead, I feel that that was the most blissful experience because when I stepped into the shoes as a client, that entire thing bring that depth to my work, which I do as a facilitator now, apart from my skills. But the challenge was real. I had invested more than 30L in my journey as a client. And when I start, then I invested more in my skills. And from by the time I started practicing, I was in a debt of 50 lakhs. And the first 2, 3 years, I worked my ass off just to pay off the debt. And not everyone is going through this. Not everyone is going to work as a facilitator. They have their life of their own, they have their own jobs. Probably this is not their calling. So these are the real challenges. And when these challenges are not addressed, people lose in the very thing, lose the trust in the very thing that could have saved them. And I remember when I was in college, one of my teacher told me that in service industry, especially in education and hospitality, especially medical hospitals, people come when they have lost faith in everything. Like they turn to God when they feel that nothing is in their hands. They turn to a doctor when they feel that now they cannot heal on their own, they cannot recover on their own. And they go from a space of a lot of desperation, as well as the only ray of hope they have that could have saved them. And when such experiences happen, when they are left more fragmented, when the trainer is overconfident or underskilled, or when he has not addressed all the layers and the client keeps slipping back onto the pattern, the worst thing that happens is they lose that hope. They lose that belief in themselves that something could go right in their lives. And that is the most brutal thing a human can do to anyone. And this brings me to actually make you understand how trauma actually operates. Like Dr. Gaber Mate says, that trauma is not an event. It is what happened inside us because of that event. It is that felt experience. And this distinction is very important because two people can experience the same event and can create completely different realities. And that is why you will see siblings who are born and brought up in the same conditions, the same set of parenting, the same resources, they have been given the same food, and everything is same, yet they experience life very differently. I'm not saying that one will become completely hindered and the other will become traumatic. No, but they will experience life very differently. The reason is because the experience of that trauma was different. Because each time, even though they were born and brought up from the same set of parents, the parents as a human had a different experience. And they brought that experience into parenting. For example, when my first child was born, I was in a very difficult relationship at that time as well. And without knowing, without even realizing, the entire pregnancy, I was so stressed and I would keep on crying and I would keep on feeling that I do not have anyone. I only have this child. And when the child was born, and because of the kind of circumstances I was in, there was constant threats that someone will take away my child and will abandon me. So this feeling of that what will happen to my child and what will happen to me if I'll not have him. That fear was so much in me. I wasn't healed at. I wasn't even aware at that point of time. That time, Instagram wasn't the thing as well, where we could get that kind of knowledge as well. So, the entire time when I was feeding him, I would constantly tell him, do not worry. I'm always going to be there for you. You only have me. You don't have anyone else. You cannot trust. And I was doing it from that painful state I was in. Okay. So, when I was nourishing my first child, I became his whole universe and I made him the center of my world. While with my second son, with my second child, it was very different. I was exhausted and the kind of circumstances at that point of time was very challenging. So all I understood was that if I had money, I would have raised him differently. So even with two children, with no help, I was working 18, 20 hours a day with no rest just to make some money so that I can give my children a better life. And the difference in their personalities is very clear. My second son is very calculative. He can smell money and opportunities like this. And even he is very transactional in any relationship, very transactional. While my elder son loves unconditionally. He will just lean onto the other person fully because that is what I have seeped in inside him. That you only have me. There is no one for you. So the moment he receives even a tiniest amount of love, the breadcrumbs, he leans onto that completely. The whole idea of sharing this was to you that two people can experience the same mother in a very different way. And their worldview, their realities would be very different. And therefore, trauma is not the event. Trauma is an experience, and that experience has multiple layers. I'll get back to the layers in some time. Before that, just see the child has an experience, that child feels repeatedly unseen. They start giving it a meaning in their own world that I'm not important. Their belief comes that my needs don't matter. They may decide, I'll stop asking, I'll stop being difficult, or they may feel like the only way I can receive love is by falling sick, by being that helpless one. Now, depending upon the decision they take, an identity is formed that I am not important. No one loves me. I'm not worthy of love. And from that space, a behavior which helps them to feel that tiniest amount of love develops. They go into people pleasing, then they burn out, experience burnout and exhaustion, and they start resent. They start have experiencing bitterness inside them. They may go into overachieving mode, okay? And they keep on chasing, being that finest, the best in that lot for that small amount of appreciation. Yet they feel hollow inside. Now you tell me, on the basis of whatever modality you use, please feel free to come off the mic and see where the real hook is. Anyone who would like to contribute here. Where is the real hook? Where the actual root cause is? Anyone who would like to contribute here? So, a person who is into talk therapy, they just may address the behavior part. You should have healthy boundaries and all the changes which someone could make in their day-to-day life. If someone is in manifestation and core beliefs, they may address the belief part. They may ask you to rewrite the new belief multiple times. If someone is into nervous system work, they may question the decisions every single time. If someone is into childhood work, they may address the childhood experiences. But can you see that even if you are addressing it through different modalities, the fragmentation is still there because the work is so deeply layered. Because each part is seeping into the different aspects of my life. So I can be a people pleaser and an overachiever at the same time because I feel I'm not important and this feeling is too painful. I can be very bossy and controlling in my workspace, and at my home, I may be very timid, who takes abuse easily because I feel that my needs are not worthy and or I'm not worthy of love. Or I may accept that behavior because I have seen that this is what normal household is. This is what a normal relationship between spouses are. But the real hope is not only in these. The real hope goes deeper why the child repeatedly feels unseen. And that brings me to the parents part. And the work is not here. The work is way deeper. That why did parents behave the way they did? And then seeing in all the ways that behavior formed an impression in the child, and the child started forming certain decisions, unconscious ones, certain behaviors, certain survival postulates, coping mechanisms in order to survive. So the same child who is a people pleaser becomes a rebel too in their most intimate relationships. Until and unless all these layers are identified, all these layers are addressed simultaneously, our client cannot move out of that repetitive pattern. So I was talking about the layers. So the first layer is the emotional layer. Every recurring pattern has an emotional fuel, a charged emotion behind it. It could be fear, it could be shame, guilt, any emotion, anger, resentment, the betrayal, like there could be multiple emotions all operating at once. And without that emotional activation, the patterns do not have that power. And those emotions, like in my first cohort, I taught this, that in those emotions have to be classified. Like all these I have addressed, this fear, shame, guilt, abandonment, these all are secondary emotions. And our job as a facilitator is to go deeper to reach the primary emotion. And there are only four primary emotions: mad, bad, sad, glad. Okay. Now, the moment the primary emotion is activated, my the part of the brain which stores all the data, it just checks that all the different experiences which helped me trigger this emotion. So, for example, if I mad is triggered, okay, I feel angry, bitter. All the experiences where I was disgusted, I was disrespected, shamed, insulted, all those also get activated at the same time. So the moment anything touches remotely my primary emotion, all the secondary emotions associated with it, those experiences, the powerlessness, the helplessness, everything gets activated at once. And when that activates, the coping mechanism which has helped me in the past to navigate it comes out. That subpersonality comes out. So I may become timid because staying silent, avoids a lot of problems. I may become aggressive and I shout violently and I throw things because then people stop doing what I don't want them to. And with primary and secondary, something else is also working behind the curtains, that is meta emotions. Meta emotions is not my lived experience, but the emotion behind the emotion. So all the repressed stories, all the suppressed patterns also gets activated. And sometimes when that emotional charge drops down, you will hear people say, I just don't know why I reacted so badly. As if something has just controlled me. मतलब इतना तो नाराज होने की कोई बात ही नहीं थी. They will tell you very clearly. They will reflect and they'll tell you that there was nothing. I could have handled it very nicely. So what is happening here? The emotion about the emotion, the felt sensation about that emotion also activates certain thing inside me, which I cannot comprehend. Now, how 7W training program addresses this layer? The biggest layer is the emotional layer. So, when we do the work, there is a part where we address this through the emotional anchor. How does it make me feel? How does it make me feel? Like at every step, we just keep asking the same question in different forms. How does it make me feel? And why do we keep doing that? So that we can find out all the different levels of emotions, primary, secondary, and meta. When I find that out and I'm making my notes here, I know how to reduce the charges. Because if something is meta, I can work on the ancestral part immediately. For example, if someone is shamed for being angry, that is the meta part. So I'm getting anger, but I'm also feeling small inside because a shame was instilled in me or probably in my parents. So the part which addresses this emotional layer is the emotional anchor. How does it make me feel? What happens inside me? Until and unless this emotional layer is addressed, no trauma can be resolved. Nothing can bring peace. And in the theory of karma as well, if the emotional part is not charged, karma cannot be created. It is only because of the charges that emotion has and the intensity that emotion has, karma happens. And that is why when we drop that emotions, we actually stop attracting certain kind of people in our lives because that emotion is no longer that charged. Okay. Now, second dimension is the split. This is the most underestimated dimension because it is like insight and awareness is already there in the client. They already know their patterns. They also know that, ha, I am getting angry, गुस्सा बहुत आता है, and if I just meditate, it will be better. When I'm hungry, I get angry faster. So when I'm well rested, my stomach is full and I have good food, I can navigate better. Awareness is not healing. So if you know all the solutions, if you know the understanding, why can't it stop? Like there are so many irrational behaviors we do, and we know it is not nice. Like every smoker knows that cigarette is unhealthy, yet they cannot stop it. Every person knows that I have to maintain healthy boundaries and I have to love and prioritize myself. But yet they cannot do it. Why? Because awareness is never the solution. It could be first step, but it is not the solution. The real reason is mind body split. Okay, because trauma lives in the body, in the soma, in the somatic part. Now, the more we become cognitively aware, and do not connect with the body part, the emotional part of us, what happens is the split widens. And after a point of time, we know all the solutions, but we cannot work on it. We cannot implement it. That is why you will hear even people who are having that, you know, successful corporate backgrounds, they say that, I have great plans. The problem is that I keep on procrastinating. And they know that if they implement the plan, it will be very successful and they will get the results out of it. But they simply cannot stop themselves from scrolling mindlessly. So the awareness, the skill has nothing to do with the split. Now, how do we address this layer? So remember the emotional anchor we talked about? Then we go to the physical anchor, how it feels in the body, where it is in the body. And the kind of cases now I handle, people will tell me, it's not in the body. I know it is resolved. It's just that I'm unable to figure out the next step. Like they will tell you, I've already done this work. I have already addressed this issue. And then I give you ways through which we can reach the body. One of the ways is, okay, if you feel that you have healed enough, see where the healing is not reaching, where this pattern of creating healthy boundaries, how does it make you feel? And oh, I feel very empowered. And see where is this empowered feeling not going inside? Just check. And then they say it doesn't go to the knees. And that is the house of inner children. So all the parts, even though the most healed ones where the resolution doesn't reach, that part of the body is the house of all the wounded inner children. And until and unless we make that connection through that emotion, the split will not be addressed. So emotional anchor should be backed by physical anchor or vice versa. Then the third layer is the story layer, the narrative. Because we do not connect with the reality, we connect with the meaning which we have assigned to the reality. A woman came and she said, you know, like my house is very chaotic and everything is because of my mother-in-law. Like she will keep on interfering in our lives. If only she doesn't stay, if only she stops interfering, everything will be okay in my life. Great. So clients do not say that I have a story. They actually believe that this is what the problem is. This is who I am. I'm a peaceful person. But it is only my in-laws, the way they behave, the mother-in-law keeps on taking sides of her younger son and his wife, and the way she creates differences, that makes it very difficult for me to live in. Okay. So I asked them, okay, in that case, do you even recall when you were alone with your partner? Our mother-in-law had, yeah, recently they went to a family function and how it was. It was normal, like we had no fights. Did you feel that your life is all fine? No, it was okay. Like there were no fights because my mother-in-law wasn't there. But at the same time, it wasn't a very happy space as well because there were constantly things to do. Now, again, another story. And I also knew that she's going to come back. So I was also bracing for what will happen when she comes back. Again, another story. So we keep on living in those different narratives. Like when I went into the therapy, I had very crystal clear reasons of my problems. Number one, my husband is very unsupportive. Number two, my children are extremely notorious. And because my husband is unsupportive and my children are so naughty, I do not feel happy. Number three, I do not feel happy because I do not have any financial independence. If I had financial independence, I would do everything and I will be happy. The narratives I was fully tied into. Now, gradually, as the layer revealed, I realized that essentially this is not the problem. Even if I had money, I would never enjoy it just because I've actually forgotten enjoying. So there was a time when I started earning, and then my therapist said that now you have money. Are you happy? And I said no, because the other problems are not solved. Like it was very immediate. And he said, but yes, you also assume that the money you have will bring you happiness. So now, is it bringing happiness? No. I mean, I'm trying to save for the future so that when I can leave this relationship, I will have sufficient funds. Again, a narrative. So we are so tied up in these narratives and these stories that we essentially forget what is actually contributing to the problem. So we keep on circling around and do not go to the problem. And this is where the facilitator has to be very clear about finding the story layer. And how do we do that? Through the mental anchor. What is the decision? What is the story here? What do you believe about it? If this could speak, what would it say? So, the first three dimensions are addressed by physical, emotional, and mental layer anchors. And all these three anchors takes me to the dimension for the decision layer. But before that, there is another subtle layer which is about my core beliefs. So, my core belief was that I have to suffer. If I will prioritize myself, my family will break. And this is how relationships are. Like, I haven't seen any person who is happily married. Like, there are always adjustments. Going deeper, I was scared that I will bring shame to my father. That was a core belief that I could not bring shame to him. Now, how that core belief became my decisions, unconscious decisions, the subconscious decisions. I would do anything to please him. I would bring pride in his life, that I would do everything in my capacity. And you can see the charge in my voice again, that I can do everything in my capacity to make him say that I'm so proud that I have you as my daughter, and which never happened. And I kept on pushing myself, enduring abuse after abuse. And this is the part we miss, not the physical, mental, and emotional anchors. They are still easy to figure out. But this decision layer, the dead decisions, the core beliefs, the fears which shapes those core beliefs, and how do I cope, the decisions which I take in order to move. So, because I wanted to bring that joy and pride in my father's life, I wanted to hear that, yes, I'm the best daughter anyone could ever have. What happened was I became an overachiever, a people pleaser at the same time. I will do exceptionally well in my academics, receiving all kinds of awards, certificates, and to an extent that even the top shots of the corporate would offer me the jobs. And I will also become a pleaser, that I will not accept that job because my dad has said that हमारे घर की बेटियां काम नहीं करती है. So I would not even accept it, and I will feel proud of it that I rejected such a big grand offer and I placed my dad above it. From the very space of probably now it will make him see me. Okay. Now, when these behaviors and these decisions are practiced repetitively, it becomes our subpersonality. Like in my case, overachiever and people pleaser. And sometimes two subpersonalities or multiple subpersonalities can coexist in different facets of our life, or sometimes one subpersonality starts way later in our lives than earlier. So, for example, in my case, I was people pleaser till I guess 10, 15 years of my life. And from that space, when I joined a hostel, from that space, suddenly I became an overachiever. Like it was an overnight transformation. I was so much into proving that I can achieve anything, I can do anything. And then the people pleasing tendency just dropped. Like I became a loner. I would just keep on studying when my friends in my hostel would have fun. And I would judge them for not being sincere. And that judgment also resulted in less circle of friends. From that space, I was like this achiever till my post graduation. And during the post graduation, my father finalized my marriage. It was an arranged one. And during my wedding, my vidai, he said that never bring any shame to me. And then from that night onwards, I became a people pleaser. Like the overachiever just went away completely. I was having no spine, no word of my own. So what I'm trying to say is that the subpersonality switches and multiple subpersonalities happens at the same time, which makes the work more complicated. And when that subpersonality's shelf life expires, when certain things stops working, people come to therapy or people start questioning themselves if not coming to the therapy. So when that overachiever ended, I became the pleaser. So one or like I will constantly judge myself being a pleaser that I'm doing nothing. Like every night when I will retire, I'll just question myself what kind of life I'm living. Like everything is gone, everything is ended. And I didn't realize when I slipped into depression. And then that people pleasing came, and I was too much into pleasing everyone, too much into willing to being accepted by everyone, that I did not have anything to say no to. And people just assume that this is what I am, and they are not wrong on their part because I did not have anything to say. So even if they would ask me, what do you think about it, jaisa aapko theek lage, my standard reply. So they stopped asking, they stopped doing anything for me. And then I started feeling that I do so much, but they never do this one. From that people pleasing, bitterness crept in, resentment crept in. I'm not saying that you may not have toxic relationship. I'm not disregarding the fact how other person treats you, but it is about what I contribute to the problem, how I contribute to the problem. So I'm talking about that part. Okay, I'm not disregarding what happened to you or what did not happen to you. I'm just showing how it shows up in different aspects of life. So those bitterness, those resentment stayed, and it made me further drift away. Now, this bitterness had gone to such an extent that I was always angry, always irritable, to an extent that I would hit my children. I would like literally spank them, especially when they were just 3 year, 2 year olds. I had complaint and cribbing nature. I simply did not recognize myself in the mirror. These are the layers which needs to be addressed every single time. But we do not do it enough. And how 7W addresses this layer? We go to multiple questions here. Here we talk about what did you decided? How did you cope with it? What you could do, what you could not do, what you wanted to do. All these layers essentially contribute to the decision layer part. Next is the body layer. If everything is cognitive, then why does the body react? You have ever felt that, the moment you step into a hospital setting, a bile just comes in the throat and there is this palpitation and anxiety and that heaviness. I have not endured any trauma in a hospital setting, but it just happens instantly. The moment before I have to write my exam, there is sudden heavy breathing. This I experienced as a child. Certain kind of nervousness. Whenever I was called to principal's office or whenever there was a PTM, again this feeling. Why does the body react? Because the body carries those unfinished responses. So even before the real event has triggered or something my teacher might have complained to my parent, the feeling is overwhelming. And this is the part where we address the feedback loop in this layer and in another layer as well by asking what happens when you could not do it. So, for example, in cases of sexual abuse, when the victim says, I just could not scream, like I wanted to shout, push that person away and run away, but I simply could not do it. So, that is the unfinished survival response. And where is it? My legs feel so clenched and tight. It's like I feel that there is some heaviness here and I cannot speak, I cannot scream. And you would often see that that person either has sore throat issue or they may have thyroid dysfunction or they may have legs pain or cramps in the body or varicose veins or sciatica for that matter. So how does we address this? So there is a very specific question we do. What you wanted to do, what you could not do. And this represents all the unfinished body movements, expressions, words. And until and unless it is addressed at the somatic layer, the charges still remain. So when the client says that I could not scream, you would, if you have been a part of my constellations as well, you would see that I would ask them to take a pillow and scream. If they say that there is so much of anger, I would ask them to hit and release the anger from the hands, from the legs. And most of the times, the clients are not aware that they are holding so much. When they start, when they feel safe to release what is being stored, they can do it for 40, 45 minutes. There is so much what you wanted to do. I just wanted to run. And then I will ask them to run in the room, like run, kick, because these are the unfinished responses. And if those responses are not given a closure now, they will stay in the body. Next is the dimension 6, the feedback loop, which I was just talking about a moment back. So if we remember this part, this experience, meaning, belief, decision, identity, which we discussed, repeat, and the subpersonality. Now, this is the feedback loop. Because I know that I keep on repeating and I get success every time, I get what I want every time, it becomes a part of my ingrained habit and then it becomes my character or a personality trait. Now, what is the feedback here? If I keep on repeating it, I will be saved. That is first layer of feedback. The second is that this belief can only be changed or it can only be worked upon if I do this. I'll explain this to you. So, for example, when I feel that my deeper belief is I will be abandoned, okay? People will leave me. If this is my deeper belief, I may become that pleaser so that I may overgive in relationships. That is happening. At the same time, I'll keep on trying to achieve more and more so that people see how productive I am, how worthy I am. Okay. Now, the client will come to you with this part that I'm an overgiver and I want to work on this. I want to have healthy boundaries, or I'm a workaholic and I want to have a balanced life. They will come with that. But the feedback loop is not only coming here, but it is also coming to the belief part. So if I address that belief and I show them how that belief connects to the current problem, this is the part most of the practitioners and most of the trainings need. That how that belief, that dead decision, the meaning you give, or the belief you have about yourself, like we use different terms, but I'm showing you in a layman's language. So all those, how does this contribute to the current problem? So, for example, the client today tells me that, you know, today I had a very nasty argument with my boss, and he is a typical narcissist. He took all my work and took the credit, and I simply cannot do anything about it. And I feel so angry. And the thing is that I do not have any other job. I really want to switch, but I cannot. Now, this they come with this problem, and this problem is occupying their space. Like they cannot sleep well, and everything is happening at the same time. Now, if I go to the deeper beliefs, okay, and there they say that I'm not worthy of love, people will leave me. And if I ask them at that point, how does this belief contribute to the current experience and the problem? If you know, if I'll not have this job, people will think that I'm useless and then they will leave me. Then suddenly it makes all sense that I was doing and taking all this abusive behavior because I was scared that if I lose this job, I will lose people. And that also brings me to a deeper realization that how I find my worth not in what I am, but what this job gives me. So without even realizing, the client has gotten two answers or maybe more because we have helped them understand the feedback. By just asking one simple question, how does this belief, how does this decision connects to the current problem or contributes to the current problem you're facing? And let the client answer. This is what I teach in 7W. So now question is that there are plethora of modalities, okay? And each one promises great results. So why most training programs fail? Any idea, anything where you would like to answer this? Anyone from the group, just come off the mic and tell me.
Lack of connection between different things that we have learned. That's what I would say.
Yeah. The integration part is missing. Like, I do not know, like, I know that all these things help, but how do I connect the different dots? And that is why what Sakshi really clearly pointed out is the integration. So, learning multiple modalities is not the solution. I can, like, I personally know people who claim very proudly that they have learned billions of modalities. But does that really solve it? Do you know when to use, why to use, what to prioritize, and most importantly, can you seamlessly switch between them? If each modality contributes, then can I seamlessly switch between each of them? And this is the missing skill, the integration, not in the client's body, but in integration in facilitation itself. And until and unless you can seamlessly connect the various threads, the work is always half done. And the client comes back to you with the same problem again and again. And that is why 7W is 7W Integrative Practitioners Training Program. In 7W, I teach various modalities, but not modality specific, but it is all integrated in one form. If I address the names of the modalities, we work on inner child issues, we work on intergenerational issues. I teach family constellations there, I teach subpersonalities work there, nervous system work there. All of them is there. But like I mentioned earlier, that everything is happening at once and every layer has to be addressed at the same time. If I do not know a common thread to weave all this, I will not be able to serve my client. Okay. So this is what 7W is. 7W is 7Ws, basically 7 questions which we take from our clients to help them understand themselves in a way no other person can. So the first W is, what would you like to work upon? That is the current problem. Because the client is going to come with a problem and they only need solution of that problem. Then what is the worst part of it? It takes me to the physical, emotional, and mental anchors, the layers I talked about, the body, emotion, and the decision layer. Sorry, the mind layer. So that is the worst part. That gives me the physical, emotional, and mental anchor. And that takes me to the decision layer and the core belief layer. What I decided, what I started believing about myself. The core belief, which guides throughout my life in different aspects of my life in different ways. From there, I go to the childhood part. What happened to you? In 7W, I add a silent W there. What didn't happen to you? Because many times client will come who will have perfect childhood, who will have normal childhood where there will be no trauma. And the client cannot connect to any traumatic spaces or traumatic experiences. Then the silent W helps in what didn't happen to you. And yes, the child had a normal childhood where the mother was physically available. She was doing everything. She would talk to the children nicely. The father was also coming home every single day, providing for the children. They would have family outings, vacations, everything. You do not see any space of trauma. But what didn't happen was probably no healthy discussions around shame happened, around body image happened. There was no safety in sharing. It was all like all were living and all were functioning. Maybe mom was strict about the routine and about how things should supposed to be, how I should behave, that a part of me felt so judged and shamed that I'm bringing this kind of problem. So I never shared it with her. So what didn't happen as well is a very important part. Then is, what did you decide to cope with the situation? The part we talked about, the unfinished movements, sorry, the decisions, the survival postulates, the coping mechanisms, the beliefs. Then is what you could not do or what you truly wanted to do. The unfinished movements, expressions, words. This is the part of the somatic work where we do deep somatic work because trauma lives in body. The other part, what did you decide, is the part of nervous system work. It also has subpersonality work. How you coped with it. I became a pleaser. I realized that if I'll be a golden child, if I'll agree to everyone, people will love me. Whose story is this? There comes the intergenerational part. Now, in intergenerational part, the way I teach is very different from the way I have learned. The way I have learned was addressing the themes. So, the major themes of intergenerational traumas are, you can find it in Mark Bolin book as well, is break and bond or bonding impairing behaviors. Then there is merging. Then there is rejection and rejection based merging. And then there is identification. To some extent, a part of identification is atonement as well. So these are the major themes. Now, what major practitioners do is they identify the themes and they work upon the theme. So even constellations are addressed to resolve a particular theme. So if there is merging, they would try to demerge. If there is rejection, they would try to find that common ground. If there is identification, they would resolve the entanglement. That is how most practitioners do. But the real work is not there. The real work is about orders of love. All the entanglements happened because the orders of the love were violated. So until and unless we ensure that in each session the orders of love are restored, the problem continues. Because when we merge with one parent, we also reject other parent. And when we reject other parent, there is rejection-based merging which is followed, which creates a break in bond with that parent. And when we are merged with that, with a particular parent, all the people who are contributing to the pain of this parent, I become identified with them. So all the themes are happening at the same time. If I address it theme wise, how many times I have to address it? Because if I demerge, the rejection based merging becomes stronger. If I address on rejection and rejection based merging, the guilt of betraying this parent whom I merged with, whom I blindly follow, the guilt becomes stronger. And guilt is the price we pay for love. So again, an entanglement happens. So therefore, in 7W, I do not teach you how to address themes. I teach you the deeper reason why entanglement happens, and that is when the orders of love are violated. And we restore the orders of love. When that happens, entanglements automatically dissolve. And how those orders of love are violated in each scene, that is the skill which we need to understand. Where the order is violated in this case. The moment you will see it, the moment you will train your eye muscle to see that pattern, things will become crystal clear to you. Now, the last part is again the part of nervous system work, the seventh W, which is who would you be without this story? And this talks about the new identity, the new belief, the new decisions, the conscious identity creation, the CIC. And this is inspired by Byron Katie's work. Now, why this is important? Understand this from the energetic point of view. Your body is a vessel, okay, and there is fragmentation happening. When the fragmentation happens, a part of you just moves outside you. There is a disconnection. And because there is space, you absorb something from the other person. Their voices, their beliefs, their opinions, their thoughts, everything, okay? Now, when I do the work, when we do the somatic part, and we release what doesn't serve us, the gap is again created. We bring that authentic part back. But that authentic part is also part of my inner child. And this part may not align with the life I want to create now. I have my opinion and I become that person with that authentic part integrated. But now this is not serving me because at one point of time I felt that, okay, I'm good. But now I am good is not serving me to that extent. So I create a new identity here, a new decision here, which integrates well, which aligns well with my authentic part. And it also gives me a new perspective, a new way to look into this part. So this is what 7W is all about. And now it's time for a live demo. The number of participants have dropped significantly. So among all the people who are here, is anyone willing to get a demo done? Please note that this is going to be recorded and it is going to be available on my YouTube channel. So anyone who would like to be a part of the live demo, I want to demonstrate the whole 7W process, how I do the work so that you can understand it in real time. Okay, Sakshi has a question that all the people giving pain to the parent, I become identified with them. Can you give an example? Now, the very example which is coming to my mind, I will share that. Okay. So I'll tell you about my part only. So I was deeply merged with my dad. Okay. And I had rejection and rejection based merging for my mother because I felt she's inferior because she doesn't contribute. Okay. Now, because there is rejection and rejection based merging, I eventually merged with my mother as well. Now, my mother was not treated nicely with my badi dadi. Okay. She would like constantly criticize my mother and hurt her in different ways because my mother was the first bahu in the family who was educated, who did not kept pallu on her head always, and she had her own ways of talking and doing. So she was condemned and criticized by her a lot. And then when she gave birth to a girl child, she was mistreated. So all the people, the my badi dadi who gave pain to my mother, I became identified with them because my mother rejects them and I am merged with my mother. I also either reject them or I unknowingly become like them. And how it played in my life, my badi dadi, her life was she got widowed at the age of 16. Okay. My badi dadaji died and she was widowed at the age of 16. See, she never had children and she was always dependent on my dadaji and his children. She was given the respect, but I guess there is always a void when you do not have a choice. Okay. And she always, like, just imagine a woman who has never even imagined life. She got married at the age of 8, 9, and before she could even experience married life as a woman, her husband died. She never had children, and all she did was taking care of the my dadaji's children and always feeling that pang. And what kind of belief she would have? She would feel that, no one is actually there for me. I have to keep giving and giving. And without my realization, this was my deeper belief as well, that I have to keep giving and giving. And just like her, I also became a bully. Like the way she would bully my mother in order to feel control, in order to feel in charge, I also bullied. I also bullied my mom for not being that smart enough, not earning enough, not having that voice, that courage, that spine. Okay. So these layers are, so that rejection based merging, which I had with my mom, was also fueled with the identification which I had with my dad. Does this help, Sakshi?
Yes, Neha. Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm asking once again if there is anyone who would like to get a demo done. In that case, I will just share the details of my. Yes, Payal. Do you want to go ahead?
I would love to go ahead. The thing is that I think I have done this demo with you before,
How do you
and it
manage?
was it was amazing, and I was actually thinking that somebody else would benefit from it. But if nobody is coming ahead, then I would actually love to take the opportunity.
Can you come on camera, Payal?
Sure.
Yeah.
Can I just get 2 minutes to set up the camera?
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
In the meanwhile, if anyone has any questions, let me know. Sakshi, we are waiting for Payal to come on camera. She's just setting up her camera for the demo. I can't see your face clearly, Payal. Can you just tilt it slightly?
Can you see it now?
Yes, I can.
I was just actually
Thank,
I'm on my phone today. Yeah.
thank you for willing to be a person who can help us facilitate the demo. Thank you for this.
Thank you
So,
to you. Thanks for this opportunity. I have always enjoyed your facilitation. And I was actually like, why is nobody raising their hand? And if nobody is, then I will raise my hand.
okay, thank you so much. Now, Payal, tell me, what would you like to work upon? What is the current problem you're facing?
Um, I would actually like to mention that I think I've done for one or two demonstrations with you before, and there was this one thing that I had done during the intergenerational summit
Yeah.
and the self-healing of this method, and also the one that you did. And I feel like every time I did something, it had such a long-lasting effect. And with time, I would look back and be like, oh, like these things that were bothering me are not even in my reality anymore. So most of the things have trickled down, and I'm in such a beautiful and stable part in my life and in my journey and in my work. Like so much good thing is happening. Um, I think there is this one thing that I want to work upon today is that I have been studying a lot. I have been like doing great one-on-one clients with my one-on-one work with my clients with all the sessions. I've been doing it for past 3-4 years with a lot after a lot of training professionally, rigorously, which is going great. I want to go out now. I am also someone who works with women specifically, and I am very inclined and motivated. Like this has been something I have always looked forward to work in retreat formats with women, in-person circles with women.
Wait,
And is there a network issue over here? Because I see a bit of lagging.
I can't see you, Payal. Like your video is stuck. Is everyone else also experiencing the same? Is it my video or Payal's, Sakshi?
I think it was
It
mine.
was Payal's actually. Yeah, she's
Okay.
back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I switched my network.
Okay. So tell me, Payal, the
Yeah,
last thing I heard was that you want to work in retreat forms.
yeah. So I want to work in retreat and circles, and I have been preparing myself for this, and I have been like it's going ongoing for a while now, for a very long time that I'm working towards facilitating this circle. And I think I need support and help in that because I have some fear of not doing it well. Like the fear of doing something for the first time. I know in my mind and my body that I will like do it flawlessly, but at the same time, there is this pu- public fear of just going out there and doing the work and feeling the fear of, oh, like, what if I mess it up? Then my credibility would be questioned, or my reputation will be hampered. And this work comes with a lot of responsibility. And what if somebody questions my responsibility and if I turn out to be inadequate? So I think my main question or my main support that I'm looking for today is overcoming this fear of the retreat that I want to do in a public space with a lot of people, like in person, especially with women. And actually, to begin with, actually to just overcome this fear and just go ahead and do it is what I think, if it's clear.
I just want one clarification from you, Payal, that have you launched this kind of program before, or is it just in the pipeline
I have done these things online, in
online?
online circles. Yeah, I want to do it in person.
Okay.
But when it comes to an in-person format, it becomes very different. I have a lot of experience because I've learned from teachers in person. So I also have experience. I know how to facilitate a whole session from start to end. I know all the basics, I know the foundations, I know the technicalities, but the fear is, I think, of going into a public space and having eyes on me and perhaps having the bandwidth of like holding a circle for 10, 15 people all at once and doing it flawlessly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we begin, this is what I wanted to point out with the new wave of clients where they know the solutions, where they know the problems. Like she has already decoded her fears. She has already also knows that in her mind it's just fear. She has worked it well. She has learned it. She also knows the solutions. The part is the which she is not able to do despite knowing the solutions, despite understanding the blocks. That is the part which we will find again and again as we keep on progressing in our journey as a facilitator. So, this is the new wave where clients are already understanding what the problem is, what the contributing factors are, and what the solution is. Yet they are not able to reach that solution. Okay. So, Payal, let's start working. Do you have a backrest?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So, close your eyes, Payal. Breathe into it. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And keep on inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. And breathe into the center of your body, wherever the center is. Now, Payal, visualize yourself conducting that retreat with 10, 15 women, you managing all the different aspects, conducting flawless sessions, everyone enjoying, getting benefit and value from your work. And the day comes when you conclude the retreat and everyone is in so much of gratitude. Feel this feeling and see how this feeling is, where is it in your body. What is happening?
I can feel it in my chest. I
Hmm.
can feel a sense of expansion in my chest and all this area, my chest and face.
Hmm. And how does it make you feel, this expansion in the chest? What is the emotion?
Sense of euphoria, feeling euphoric,
Can't hear
feeling
you, Payal. Your voice cracked in between.
feeling euphoric.
Euphoric. Okay. Now, Payal, just see, give this feeling, this euphoric feeling, this expansion in your chest, a form, size, shape, or color, and let it expand into the different parts of your body and see where it doesn't reach. Okay, take your time and just see where it doesn't reach. Where it doesn't reach, Payal.
So it feels like there's this cavity in my chest.
Hmm.
Like there is this one pit depth in my chest where it is not reaching. And I can almost also feel a sense of fear or sinking feeling at the same time.
Hmm. Now breathe into the cavity of your chest. Breathe into this sinking fear. And if this fear could speak, if it had a voice of its own, what would it say? The first thought, Pile. The first thought.
I am not good enough and I don't know enough.
Hmm. Now, Pile, breathe into this statement. I am not good enough. I don't know enough. Breathe into this fear, this bottomless pit, and see, when did you experience it in your life? Probably for the first time, or if there are multiple incidents, the strongest of all, whatever chose to you, the first one, the first one, Payal.
Mm, I'm not able to tap into it.
Okay. Okay. Now, just breathe into this. I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. And see if the different versions of you which has lived it. Okay. The different episodes, the events of your life will just keep on flashing. It could be a very trivial, very minute one, or it could be a very major one as well. And now what is showing up? Just keep on letting us know.
I uh I'm feeling these sensations in my chest and my hands, and it is not taking me to an incident, but it is taking me into these abstract feelings of I think since childhood, I have always had this feeling that I am not smart enough. I am not intelligent enough.
And you had this feeling because someone told you or something happened? What is showing up?
I know it's family, but it's not showing up an incident.
Don't worry about the
I
incident.
can,
Forget about the incident. Just see in overt and covert ways where you were made to feel that you're not smart enough, not intelligent enough, you're not good enough. May not be from a very tormenting space, but just a casual remark. And what is showing up now?
I can. So this is very different. I am not able to see, but I am able to know. I'm able to
Yeah,
have a
go ahead.
feeling that I can feel and I can know that uh, I am not good at solving math
Hmm.
and I'm being shamed for it.
Okay. When you were
I'm not
being
able to understand math and I'm being shamed for it.
by any specific person, or there are multiple people?
Mhm. Punished for it.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, there's punishment, there's a lot of criticism.
Hmm. And just see, Payal, when you were shamed, punished, criticized for not being able to solve mathematical problems or not being able to understand the mathematical concepts, what did you started feeling? What did you started believing?
That I am dumb, that something is wrong with me.
And now see how this feeling, I am dumb, something is wrong, is contributing to the current challenge you are facing in your life, where you want to launch your program. What is the connection, Payal? Find out the connection and let us know.
That when I will launch this program,
Hmm.
people will call it dumb, that it is not good enough.
Hmm.
It is not good enough. It is not impactful. It is um, not scientifically or factually backed. Hmm.
Now, just face this part of you. When your clients tell you it's dumb, just see that how they criticize your offering of being scientifically having no backing, no factual backing, and it is not what it claims to be. And see what happens when all those 10, 15 women actually say that to you. It is a stupid program, it is a foolish program. How could you even do this kind of program? How can you fool people? There is no scientific understanding of it. It's just woo-hoo. There is no factual data here. And see what happens inside.
I'm instantly feeling a lot of heat in my face,
Hmm.
and I am also feeling attacked and rejected.
Hmm. And when there is heat on your face, when you feel attacked, when you feel rejected, Payal, what do you want to do? What you could not do? And what is happening there? The first thought.
Feel like I want to hide into a shell.
Hmm. Now, adult Payal who is taking the session today, let this version of fearful Payal, who is feeling attacked, rejected, that heat on her face, and also that version of Payal who was shamed, punished, criticized for being dumb, for not understanding maths, let take both these versions of you into a shell, into a safe space where no one sees them.
Mm.
Have you taken them there?
Yes,
And now just look at them with all the love and kindness they need. And what happens to these two different versions of you?
she is hiding her face.
Hmm.
She's hiding her face,
Hmm.
like her body is completely tucked in, and she's crying.
And let her do that for some time without any judgment, without any words. And as she keeps on doing that, gently hold her hand and stroke her hand with all the love and tenderness she needs, she desires. And through your eyes, communicate the love which you have for her. Just keep on
She
doing.
is she's feeling a lot of shame, and she's feeling like she cannot face the world ever again.
Mm. And ask her, what is the worst part of this shame?
Of being exiled,
Sorry?
of being exiled,
Hmm. Go deeper.
being exiled and not being witnessed by
Hmm.
anyone, by any parent that I'm feeling exiled. She's feeling exiled. That she's alone. She's struggling.
Hmm.
She's feeling less. She's feeling she has been pointed fingers at, that the world has exiled her.
Hmm. And just see if you would like to move closer to her, and if she's comfortable, let her lean on you completely, on your shoulders, and just hold her hand. And now, Payal, show her all the parts of her which also excelled, which created a difference, which was good at other subjects except maths. The parts of her who her friends trusted, the parts of her who believed in these unconventional paths and who did exceptionally well there. Like, just show her her entire journey where she was celebrated, where she was admired, where people reach out to her. And what happens when she sees all of those? What happens to her?
She is looking up and looking at it, but at the same time, she's feeling that, but she will always be judged for lacking here in life.
Hmm. And now, adult Payal, as you keep on showing her all the parts of her which were celebrated, where she excelled, just keep showing her that. Also, show her the people who celebrated her and see which part weighs more. The people who condemned her, judged her, criticized her, or the people who celebrated.
She can see that people who condemned her and criticized her are also the same people who are celebrating her now.
Hmm. And how does it make her feel when they are the very people?
It makes her feel very alone and very lonely,
Hmm.
because when she was a child, the same people criticized her and pained her, but now she had to pull herself and find her own path and do everything on her own to be here, to arrive at this destination. And now they're celebrating her. So it feels very lonely to her. Um, then it's still very painful to hold those wounds.
And just see, I'm doing an experimentation here, just see if this resonates. And she's not showing up to her full potential because she fears that now these very people who are celebrating her will again criticize her, and again she will go through that loneliness.
Yes, if she feels, they will.
Yeah. And now,
If she feels, they will lose faith in her again.
breathe into this fear of you, of losing those very people whom you have earned after achieving something in life. And why do you want to accept and get your worth from this conditional love file? Why do you feel that you can't be loved unconditionally? Why do you feel that only your success and achievement can make you receive love? And if you fail, all that love will be taken away.
Because that is how my mother treated me my whole childhood.
Now bring your mom, wife. Tell her, Mom, I could never felt love by you. Receiving love from you was always conditional. And I feel so much lack inside me that I want to do anything and everything to get that love. I'm scared to be myself because that brings up a fear. What if it will take away your love? I stick to the safer ways because that has showed me that I can receive love from you. And in all these ways, even if I have your love, I feel that I'm betraying myself. It feels like if I follow my heart, I may fail and it will cost me your love. And see what happens as you say that, Payal.
As I'm saying that, it is taking me to a childhood memory of
Hmm.
mine. So when I was a kid, my mother, she would pressurize me a lot to perform. I was forced to perform. So I was being trained in music, singing, and I used to be, and in dance as well, and I used to be forced to perform in competitions that I never really enjoyed, when I was not really prepared for. And there have been incidents where I performed at two to three places, and it was so bad. I froze on stage, or when I finished a performance, I was so proud of myself, but my mother was so angry that I did not do well, and she kept criticizing me, and she kept scolding me for not doing good enough.
And how all these experiences left a mark on you and is now connected to the current problem you are facing. Can you find that connection, Payal?
Yes,
What is that connection?
it is not allowing me to begin at all. It is, I am already anticipating criticism. I am already anticipating disappointment from people
Mhm.
before even I am actually going out there and doing it.
And can you see in all the ways all your potential clients are representing your mother, are mimicking your mother? Can you see that?
Yes, funnily.
So now, adult Payal, just see if this is possible for you to tell your mom that, Mom, I could never be the daughter you wanted me to be. Just feel the grief that comes with it. Feel the pain that comes with it. That, Mom, I could never be that child, that daughter whom you wanted me to be. And somehow I always felt that no matter what I do, I always end up disappointing you. And I was so scared to disappoint you that I eventually tried everything which would at least not disappoint you, or which will probably bring happiness to you. And Mom, today, keeping you happy or the fear of not disappointing you is eating me up, because it demands me to become someone who I do not resonate. So, Mom, with due respect, I want to leave the parts of me which wants to just make you happy, which is fearful of disappointing you. I let go of all the ways in which I could receive your love, and rather take your love by seeing that you believed in me. You believed in that potential of me, which I couldn't see in myself. And now, can you see, Payal? When your mom was pushing you towards dance classes, music classes, art, and she was trying to make you perform at different places and always criticizing you for not doing well enough, a part of her also believed in what you are capable of.
True.
Can you see that part now? That probably her
It's
love
true.
language was to push you towards excellence, not realizing that by pushing you towards excellence through criticism, she is also dampening your confidence. So now, Payal, adult Payal, you have a choice to take that criticism as your mother's love, or to see that potential which she saw on you as her love. And what would you like to take, Payal?
I would actually like to take her vision of me, the what she saw in me. I would like to see that in me. I would like to take that perspective.
So now, Payal, tell your mom that, Mom, I leave all the forms of love. I release all those languages of love, and I take back only that pure love that any mother can have, with where she wishes the best for her child, where she wants her child to reach the best. I leave everything else and I just stick to this belief in you, in me. And I will lean on this belief of yours in me when I do not have that belief in myself. And that is how I choose to honor your love and receive your love. And now, Payal, and all the different versions of you who were criticized, shamed, judged by mom and the other people who represent mom, breathe out all those parts of you, Payal. Give it a form, size, shape, color. Breathe out that cavity in your chest. Breathe it out from your hands. Breathe out from all the different parts of your body, every single cell of your body. All the criticisms, rejections, judgments. What is the form? What is happening?
It's like a Black ball of smoke.
Breathe it out and place it with respect on mom's feet, saying that you only saw one side of her love, the abusive one. But her love was bigger than this. There was a part of her which firmly believed in that version of you, in that potential of you. So breathe this out with all the love and respect. Let me know when it is done. Take your time. Release all the ways in which you felt that people only shame you. People will judge you. People will criticize you. You will be punished. You will be shown how wrong you are, how incapable you are, how you are not good enough, how you don't know enough, how you are not smart enough, not intelligent enough, how you will be made to feel less. Breathe out all that. Breathe out all the versions of those stories. How much of it is still remaining? Or is it gone completely?
A little bit.
Take your time. No rush. Keep checking your face, which wants to just stay hidden. Check your shoulders, which droops with the criticism. Check your chest, where that cavity is there, where that bottomless pit is there. Check your hands, your abdomen, your stomach, your thighs, your pelvic floor, genitals, knees, legs, feet. Check your back and breathe it out. Now, as you release all those versions of love language which mom showed, and all the ways people copied that language in your life, throughout your life, now tell mom that, mom, I leave all these stories, all these experiences behind. And I take that love which believed in me. And now every step I take it for you, for the belief that you had in me, for the belief you had in my potential. I take every single step towards that. I don't know when I will reach that potential, but each step is a tiny progress towards that. And I dedicate that to you. Whether success comes, whether learning comes, the joys that comes in this journey, I dedicate all that to you. And this is how I choose to love you and honor you. By every day taking step towards that potential which you see in me. And what happens now, Payal? What is happening?
Um, I can see that she's taking it away with a lot of smile on her face.
And now see, every time she criticized you, she judged you, she saw the potential in you. And now, when you see that part of her and you take that form of love from her, the belief, the unshakable belief which she had in you, in your potential, how would you like to show up for your programs, for your offerings in this whole wide world, Payal? What are the new decisions, the new belief, create a new identity here, Payal? Knowing that every
I,
step you take it for the belief which mom had in you.
I can actually see that I can do it, and not just do it, but do it so stunningly. I can I can see and feel a lot of ease in my body while I'm doing it.
And why can't you do it when your mom believes in the potential you have? And every time you touch that potential, she celebrates you. And every time you lack or there is a gap, she still holds that benchmark for you. She never gives up on that potential which she sees on you.
So
And what happens now?
that I don't stop. I don't go back into a shell if I am met with rejection or criticism. I go out once again and again and again. I don't let it define the end of my journey. I still continue. I learn from it and I still continue and I still continue and I still keep going back. I don't retract back to my shell for safety.
And every time I do it, every time I show up, I do it for the potential which mom sees in me. And that is how I choose to love you. And if all my clients actually reflect my mom, then all my clients also see that potential in me.
So,
And how does it make me feel now?
so easy, so easy and effortless and like a team that I'm not on my own. that I'm part of it and not exiled from it.
Let this feeling settle inside your body. Let all the fears go away. Give it a form, size, shape, energy to it. And once it is settled, come back to the here and the now.
Can I open my eyes?
Drink some water, Pai. How are you feeling?
Um, I'm feeling very easy in my body, and it was like a immediate perspective shift. It was like um what I was choosing to see, and like two possibilities exist, and I'm choosing to see the possibility of criticism while the possibility of belief also exists. And when you said that if it is my if my mom sees my potential and if she believes in my potential and that is what she saw in me, and if the people are also the reflection of it, it just changed my perspective that yes, I can actually choose to see that every person who is coming into my container is coming to work with me because they see something in me. And this is what they are seeing. They are not coming to me first because they want to see criticism. Then they would actually never want to come and work with me. But they are choosing me because they see something, they see potential as and belief as much as my mother does. And the moment I could see it, I could see that, oh, like it's just so easy that that switch, that perspective switch, and a full body switch, not just in my mind but in my body. And that um like I am looking at it, like I was looking at it from a space of alienation, that it's so many people against me or me against so many people. But then I could see that actually we are all together in this. There is no separation over here. So yeah, I'm feeling very easy, and I'm feeling um, very effortless in my body now that I'm thinking of it and looking at it, that it is not um, there is no separation over here. It's just more cohesive, honestly.
The shift becomes effortless when we see the blind, unconscious love and convert into a conscious love.
Hmm.
So, irrespective of how mom treated you, another truth which we never got to see because we were so much into that pain of experiencing that love language that we could not see any other language behind it
Hmm.
was that belief. So, when she celebrated you or your wins, It was coming from the oh, she has actually reached there. And when she criticized
Hmm.
you, she could see the gap. You are meant to be here, but you choose to stay here. So in both the ways, whether it
Hmm.
was celebrating you or criticizing you, she never gave up on you.
True.
Like,
True. It's very true.
because if she would have given up on you, she would have stopped criticizing and she would have accepted the status quo.
Hmm.
Okay, she cannot do
True,
it. Let
true.
it. Like, there's no point in making her understand. It's better I accept it. That could have been a possibility to Pile, but she never chose that. She kept on pushing herself and she kept on pushing you. I'm not taking away the pain that it caused to you. I'm not taking away that pain. But now, this is the time when you can turn that pain into passion, into fuel, into magic. And
True.
you can recreate or revisit that story, which helps you reach the place where you want to go rather than keep you in that loop.
Hmm. True. And it is actually true that um even today my mother, she believes a lot in me, that she's always eager to know that what am I doing, how am I doing it, and when I lose belief in myself, she is there and she's reminding me that why are you feeling so and so? You can do this or you can do that. So it is very true that she definitely always has seen a potential in me, and she has always vouched for it. She has always thought highly of me in that regard. And her ways in childhood were not helpful, but her intention was always the best for me. It's true.
And that is what trauma does to us. It just fragments us. And we just see that part, that painful part, and we leave the rest. And like
True.
integration is all about seeing the whole story. So now, Payal, only one suggestion to you that whenever you show up, okay, and whatever ways you show up, before showing up, just breathe into yours. Breathe into the versions of mom which believed in you
Hmm.
and tell her in your mind that, Mom, I do it for the belief you have in me, for the potential you see in me. I show up to honor that. Then the fear will not have any place.
True. Absolutely. I actually, the moment I could make that switch, I saw that there is no fear. Like it just instantly got transmuted into power.
So the thing is that it has happened once, but the nervous system needs repetition to
Hmm.
create this new neural pathway. So that is why every
100%.
time you show up, do it gradually. This neural pathway will strengthen up. Okay. So keep doing it regularly. If you can do it multiple times a day, nothing like that. Okay. And thank you so much
Yeah.
for allowing us to be a part of your story. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks to you, Sneha. Thank you so much. This was so lovely and so effortless. Thank you so much. And I think it has always happened that I have gotten really great perspective shifts, which have always helped me to become empowered about what I was feeling disempowered. Like I always leave feeling empowered, and I feel that, oh, like this is the way to look at it. This is the way to channel it. So your sessions always are so helpful because they show me that how I can channel it in the right direction. Like that energy is there, but it's not being channeled in the right direction. It is not. Otherwise it's just getting churned and it's just getting looped in the same story. So it's a new perspective and it's a new way of channeling it. And I think that is where the work always happens for me. Thank you so much, Neha. This was so lovely, and I'm always so grateful for your generosity. It's
Thank you, Payal. Thank you
Amazing.
so much. Wishing you all the best and all the success.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll quickly share the other part of the PPT. It will not take me more than 5 minutes. So this is the program which I am offering. So it's a year-long program. And in this, I teach you the different modalities, inner child, somatic, subpersonalities, constellations. So we do 6 kinds of constellations. The one which I did with Payal was progressive constellation, body-based. Okay. Then there is intergenerational trauma work. Then there is nervous system work. And all are, if you would have seen the demo, you would see that all of them happened in one single session. The shift was immediate in the session itself. Like we did the demo for 35 minutes. And you can do it in single session basis, but I usually train my students to keep a deeper practice where you can work with clients on longer term. So like in this case, I did not had any previous information of Payal. Like I did not had the answers, the family history. I had worked with her 1 or 2 times, but that too also was in such kind of webinars or some kind of summits, but not a personal one-on-one every single time. So I do not have that information. But in 7W, I teach you about the detailed questionnaire, how you can take that information, how you can make those connections. And those connections, we do it through traumagram, okay? Where we find out the different combinations, the different things, the different connections, the entanglements, where the orders of love are violated, and through which the session flows very seamlessly. I exactly know where to connect the dots. So we meet every Wednesday, 9 to 12. That is the regular classes once a week. Apart from that, once a month in the initial 4 modules. We meet once a month for the doubt class. After that, we meet twice a month for the doubt class. Apart from that, we have an active Facebook community where you can bring as many questions as you want. You can discuss your client cases, and I keep on sharing my views, my insights on it. Apart from, like, this is a recorded course, so you will get the recordings for a lifetime. At no point of time, the access will be restricted. And then you will also get manuals, which just helps you with the gist of the work. Apart from that, I will be also uploading certain books for supplementary reading. And there are certain books which are not available online in PDF form. Then I share the names of those books. So this is how it is. The program fee is 3.5 lakh. Apart from this 8 months of live training, once this is over, we also do 3 months of mentorship, wherein I handhold you and we do meet every 15 days and I guide you through the process. Now, in these 8 months, the 27th and 28th class is about the business part of it. How to price your offers, how to talk about your offering, how to explain the work, how to do marketing, the communication part, we deal all of it there. We deal the shameful parts of us. Then the last 2 sessions, that is 29th and 30th session, is about supervision, where you will facilitate the session in front of me in live class, and not for assessment purposes, but I will guide you where you could take it, what are the parts which you missed, how you can improve your practice. So the supervision is also there. Along with it, you will get a certification, and then the certification is also of 2 types. One is of participation and the other one is of completion. So if you do not adhere to the evaluative criteria, then you get certification of participation. But when you submit certain demos and answer certain questions, like go through that rigor, then you get the certificate of completion. Only on the basis of certification of completion, I recommend that I recommend you to other people. If that is not happening, if the certification of completion, if you have not gone through that rigor, then that recommendation from me is not there. Okay. So this is all about the training program. Feel free to ask your questions and let me know if I can help you in any way. Any questions, any doubts, anything which you would like me to address? Okay. So thank you so much. I exceeded the time limit as always, and you have been patient enough for being with me. Thank you for your time, your energy. Thank you, Payal, for allowing us to witness your journey. And if you wish to have more information or if you would like to have a clarity call, feel free to DM me. Thank you so much. Bye. Take care.
Thank you, Sneha. Bye bye. Thank you
Bye,
for your
Payal.
time
Thank
and
you
for
so
this
much.
webinar.
Bye, Sangeeta. Bye, Rajeshwari. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.